All right. Hello, my name is Tom, and this is Layla, and we will be leading you through a 60-minute Vinyasa flow this evening. If you have blocks or a strap or a bolster or any other props that will help you in your practice find support in the movements, please go ahead and grab those now. And once you've done that, if you would like to please meet me in a nice comfortable seat, or if you would like to start laying down, totally up to you, your choice there. You can take your hands to heart center with your palms meeting, or you can have your hands open on your thighs or your knees facing up. And whenever you are ready to go ahead and flutter your eyes closed, if that's comfortable for you, or take a nice soft gaze down out in front of you. I would like to offer a theme for this practice of forgiveness, release, and balance. So forgiveness of ourselves oftentimes is releasing grudges or hard feelings or regret or maybe sadness around situations or people or things we've experienced in our lives that maybe feels like it takes us out of balance or gets trapped somewhere in our physical body as well as our emotional body. So to begin the theme with some breath work and a little bit of a grounding meditation, no matter where you're coming from in your day, to find that nice easy seat and find some of that balance and release and forgiveness throughout this practice. Wherever you are at, I want to offer you this theme, or if you have something around forgiveness you would like to focus on as an intention throughout this practice, you can go ahead and sort of visualize or start to meditate on that as we just take some nice deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, releasing. It doesn't have to be judgment of our breath, but just noticing where we're at this point in our day, noticing how our breath feels, not trying to control or change it, just honoring where we're at. Forgiveness is not about condoning, but about releasing weight we no longer need to carry. So as we move together through this practice and you find your individual practice with what is offered, try and keep that in mind that it is truly up to us, and oftentimes things out of our control that we feel resentment or regret or hurt towards maybe not be rooted in our weight to carry, and we can release those. So to begin, let's find a box breath. So with box breath, you find a count that works for you. I'm going to begin with 4, 4, 4. So 4 count on the inhale, letting the belly fill with air and the chest rise. Again, opening up the heart and the neck, and then you'll hold at the top for the 4 count, and then release for a 4 count. 3, 2, 1, and hold at the bottom. 3, 2, 1. So if you'd like to adjust that, the goal is to keep the even count on the inhale, both of the holds, as well as the exhale. So you can adjust the pace, or if you'd like to take it from 4 counts to 3, whatever is serving your body and where you're at on your mat right now. And as you start to find the flow of whatever the count or cadence is, you can start to find a little bit of movement again if you have your eyes closed, or if you have them softly gazing ahead. Maybe on your next round of inhales, let's take the arms high up overhead. 4, 3, 2, 1. Palms meet high overhead. Hold for the 4 count, or whatever count you're finding now. And on the exhale, start to bring them down through center. Releasing, and feeling that balance again in your sit bones. Feeling that grounding with each breath and with each hold. Again, a reminder not to force anything, but to let go and just honor where your body is naturally. Again, you're free to adjust the pace to be faster or slower, whatever your body's calling for, or whatever it needs right now. So again, we can take the arms high up overhead with your next inhale, holding the retention on the breath here with the palms together, and on the exhale coming down through heart center and holding the retention here before taking that next inhale. We'll do one more round together. Inhale, 3, 2, 1. Palms knee high up overhead, hold the breath. And then exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming to heart center. Before we begin the more movement-oriented part of our practice, just notice how you feel here after that breath, after that grounding and meditating on what you need to forgive, whether it's yourself or whether it's another person. Just think about that. Offer yourself some extra kindness throughout this practice too. A lot of times balance can make us feel not enough or like we're being competitive with ourselves, but give yourself that forgiveness and the kindness to honor your body as we move through the practice together. Before we move into that, let's join in taking a couple of lion's breaths together to really start warming up the body. We've taken some nice deep breaths for the grounding. So on your inhale, deep through the nose, and on the exhale, almost a big sigh in the back of your throat. We'll do that 2 more times together. Inhale, belly rises, chest fills, lungs, chest rises, opens the throat, and on your exhale, through the mouth. Let it all go. We'll do one more together. Okay. Whenever it feels comfortable for you, if you will meet me in tabletop, we'll continue with introducing some breath and movement into our practice. So on our fingers wide, palms flat on the mat, square underneath the shoulders, knees square underneath the hips. Nice and balanced here. You can tuck your toes if you'd like, or you can have them flat behind you on the mat. And let's start to find the cat-cow, your cat-cow. So on the inhale, gaze rises up, tailbone rises, really expanding the belly. On the exhale, round the back. You can push back through, tucking the tailbone, engaging the core. And on your inhale, moving forward, gaze rises up. Again, staying planted and square through the hips and shoulders. And on your exhale, pushing back, rounding through the spine, tucking the tailbone, engaging the core. We'll go through a couple more rounds here of cat-cow. Exhale, rounding the back, tucking the tailbone, engaging the core. If you would like to find a little extra movement here, if you've been sitting all day, maybe at work, and you want a little bit of hip movement before we start getting into some other poses, go ahead and find whatever feels good for your body and your practice. Again, just continuing to ground down through the palm and the ball of the hands and the knees, keeping them square, and just moving with your breath. You can really elongate forward a little bit and really start to push back as you round through the spine, finding the cat and the cow. All right, on your next inhale, go ahead and take your right arm up to the sky, and we're starting to find our next set of movements. So on your exhale, you can take the right arm, thread the needle over and under to the left. You can have your left palm on the mat, again keeping your knees and hips square. If you'd like to add a little more to this pose, you can take a half bind with your left hand on your right hip pocket. Again, staying keyed into your breath here, finding a little more deepness in that shoulder. Noticing where you feel your core and your hips, if they're moving a little bit. trying to keep those engaged. And on your next inhale, go ahead and press down through the left arm and rise up. And you can roll, take a couple shoulder rolls on that right side before moving over to the left. And then for the left side, again, we're going to ground down through our right palm, hips are square, shoulders are square. Left hand, left shoulder opens up. We can take the left arm through underneath the right. And again, that bind is there if you'd like to maybe take the right arm high up behind you, or wrap it and find the tuck into your left hip, almost where your pocket would be. Again, continuing to breathe. If you would like to kick your foot up and find a little more balance before we move into some of the other more challenging balance poses, you can do that. Again, trying to keep a line with your spine and your hips. We're not forcing anything into that shoulder, maintaining the breath. And whenever you're ready to unwind, planting down through that right palm and bringing the left arm back and through. And again here, you can take some shoulder circles backwards and forwards, kind of rolling that out. Now whenever you're ready, go ahead and meet me back in tabletop. Again, hips are square, shoulders are square, palms planted firmly, fingers wide underneath the shoulders. And you can move them out a little bit if you'd like. We're going to go ahead and tuck the toes. Whenever you're ready, we're going to plant into the palms of our hands and our fingers wide with that base. Start to hover the knees. And whenever it feels ready in your body, you can go ahead and pike the hips up high, tuck the chin, nod the head yes, shake it no. You can walk your heels out, pedal through the feet. It's okay if your heels are not touching the mat. It's the first downward dog of the practice. But just making sure you've got the core engaged, shoulders pulled down and away from the ears. It may seem kind of silly, but check in with your breath here. Check in with your tongue. Take it down off the roof of your mouth. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and kick your right leg back, high up to the sky. If you'd like to open the hips and stack them, find the little circles here, the ankle to start, finding some hip circles, whatever feels good in your body today. Before coming back to our three-legged dog. And on your exhale, let's go ahead and plant the right foot between the hands. And we can bring the left knee down to the mat. On your inhale, arms rise high up overhead into our low lunge. Again, playing with a little bit of balance here. If you'd like, you can come up on the toes. And with your breath, exhale down, inhale, rise. Exhale down, inhale, rise. And on the next exhale, let's find that low lunge. And again, inhale, arms high up overhead. Exhale, slowly, palms together, bring them down to heart center. And on your next inhale, let's go ahead and peel the shoulders down and away from the ears. And on your next exhale, take your left elbow and we're going to take it to the right knee, keeping our elbows pointed out. Almost think of them as an extension. You want your knee over your ankle still. You can have on your right side, your right elbow pointing to the sky, looking over towards your right side. Starting to feel, again, with that core engaged in your side body, as well as the stretch through your legs. So playing with a little bit of balance here, as well as a side body twist. Take one more deep inhale here. And on your exhale, let's go ahead and unwind. You can shake it out a little bit. Inhale, arms come high up overhead. Exhale, let's go ahead and frame the foot.
We'll kick it back into plank. And exhale, slowly lower down. Elbows brushing against the sides of your torso. You can flip your feet. Inhale, up dog or baby cobra. Exhale, and we push back into downward facing dog. Great job. So this is setting the stage in kind of a pattern for a lot of our balance and twisting poses today. Again, going back to that theme or that idea of forgiveness, not only of ourselves, or not only of others, but of ourselves as well. So give yourself some grace here. But I like to think about it when things get challenging, especially forgiveness, sometimes wringing things out, letting go of the regret, or letting go of those hard feelings helps us process it, both physically and emotionally. So here, on your next inhale, we'll kick the left leg high up overhead. Again, you can open the hips, stack them, keeping shoulders square, hands firmly planted, fingers wide. And then whenever you're ready on your next exhale, let's take the left foot, frame it with the hands. Right knee comes down to the ground. Inhale, rise into our low lunge on this side. Exhale, hands come down to heart center, peeling the shoulders back, opening the chest down away from the ears. And our next inhale, and then exhale, we'll take the right elbow to left knee, finding our twist here in low lunge. Again, you may feel it in your shoulders. We can look towards our left side, but we're still peeling the shoulders down away from the ears. You can feel the push up through your leg. You can see it's kind of like a straight line from my heel all the way up through my left elbow. So we're feeling a twist and also playing with a little bit of balance here. And on your next inhale, let's go ahead and unwind and exhale. You can shake it out. Inhale, arms rise high up overhead. Exhale, we'll frame the foot. Inhale, back through plank. Exhale, chaturanga, if that's in your practice. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, back into downward facing dog. And on your next inhale, we'll go back to the right side. Right leg kicks up, heel high to the sky. And on your exhale, let's bring it through. Frame out the foot. And we'll pause here just for a second. So you'll make sure your feet are almost in line, but you're up on your back left toes. You got a nice 90-degree angle or bend, whatever feels good for your body here. If you need some blocks, you can use those for support. We always have a little bit of balance differential on both sides, so we want to make sure we're honoring our body and not forcing anything here. So if you would like blocks, you can go ahead and put them here, frame out the foot, and on your next inhale, I'd like you to move into a half split. So if you want to sneak the toes up a little bit at a time, and you start to dip forward, again, hands on blocks or hands on the ground, framing out the foot. You can have a little bit of bend in the knee. Again, we don't want to stress or pressure anything in the joints. But here's a little more balance you can play with if you'd like, whether you're on blocks or on the floor. Pick up one hand and the other and just see how it feels on this side. You may play with balance a little bit. Couple more rounds of breath here. You're doing great. Just let your body start to find peace in each of these and forgiveness. Whatever things you maybe didn't even know you were carrying. Sometimes these challenges, things will pop up mentally and emotionally, and it's a good opportunity to forgive others and forgive ourselves, to let it go and let the weight fall. And on your next exhale, let's do that with the back foot. Toes come back down to the mat. Kick your right foot back to meet the left. Hands are square, shoulders square, core is engaged. Lower down slowly, chaturanga into cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, push back to downward facing dog. So still in our warm up here, feeling some heat in the body, starting to really get some balance and feel some of the muscles and pieces of our body coming alive. On your next inhale, kick the left heel back high up to the sky. On your exhale, place it down in between the hands. Again, if you've got your blocks here, you can use those if you'd like. And again, if you want to move a little slower and just kind of ease into it, you can even play with picking that foot up and setting it down as you start to let the body fold over that front thigh. Remember to breathe. Sometimes we get compressed in some of these tucks or folds. We can forget to breathe. You can try and raise the leg a little higher, or just stay sturdy, stay solid. Your body is grounded here in so many ways. If you have blocks or if you want to play with the hands, and just see what's a little bit different on this side. Not judging, but offering love and forgiveness to yourself through your physical body as well, and releasing any of that judgment if you are holding it. Couple more rounds of breath here. Again, got our core is engaged. You can gaze a little ways out in front of that foot. And on your next exhale, let's plant the back toes back down. And inhale, kick the left toes back to meet the right. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Next, I would like to offer you some sun salutations. So if you'd like to walk, hop, or jump to the top of your mat, do a forward fold. And inhale, rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, rise. Exhale, swan dive. Hands back to the mat. Again, our hips are square, core is engaged, shoulders rolled away from the ears. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, back to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, hop, jump or walk to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, all the way up, hands overhead. Exhale, hands meet and come down through heart center. Inhale, hands rise high up overhead. Exhale, swan dive, back down to a forward fold. On your next inhale, again, frame the feet. You can jump, walk the feet back into plank. Exhale, lower the body slowly, again, keeping elbows tight to your sides. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. One more round of the sun salutation there. So again, if you'd like to hop, jump, or walk to the top of your mat, do your forward fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands come down through heart center. Feel your feet really rooted here. Feel that balance and that grounding. Inhale, hands high up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, nice flat back. Palms are either on the shins or knees. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, plank, jump or walk back. Exhale, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, upward facing dog. Exhale, push back to downward facing dog. Go ahead and pedal it out here. Again, we've found some fire, find some heat, feeling the balance. Make sure to pike those hips, keep the core engaged, peeling the shoulders back and away from the ears. All right, and on your next inhale, let's go ahead and kick that right leg high up to the sky. Exhale, bring it between the hands. Inhale, rise into our high lunge. Take a couple of rounds of breath here. Hands are up overhead, shoulders peeled down and back away from the ears. Core is engaged, tailbone tucked up on your back toes. You've got a nice bend in the knee. We're not floating it out over the foot, but you do feel that engagement, a little bit of that fire in the front leg. On your next exhale, let's go ahead and bring the hands down through heart center. Inhale. And on exhale, we're going to take that left elbow to our right knee again. So again, playing with some balance here, really opening up the hips, feeling that core engaged, focusing on the breath here and the balance. Find a spot maybe on the wall, on the ground out to your right to help you find that stability. And inhale, rise, unwind, back into our high lunge. Exhale, let's go ahead and frame the foot. Inhale, we'll kick it forward into our half splits. Exhale, back down. Inhale, back to plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, take a moment here. Again, pedal the feet out before we move to the other side. Again, keeping in mind, whenever you come to your mat, this is a great place to let things go. Whether that's stress from the day, judgment of yourself or others, this is a safe space, a space of peace and forgiveness. Sometimes a little bit of distraction. And on your next inhale, let's take left leg back and high. Exhale, bring it in between the hands. Inhale, rise into our high lunge again. Again, tailbone tucked, core is engaged, shoulders down and back, away from the ears, arms out to the side overhead. And on your next inhale, or exhale, excuse me, let's bring those down through heart center. Inhale, rise a little, exhale, sink into the stretch a little more as you take your, there's that balance, right elbow to left knee. Again, try and see if you can draw a line, just like we do sometimes up our spine, this time from our heel up through our leg and our arms all the way out through that left elbow. We're not locking the knee out, but we do feel the engagement there in those muscles. Feel this twist. It's almost like we're wringing everything out. Any grudges, any regrets, any hard feelings. We're physically finding that forgiveness by noticing it and letting it go. Wringing it out like a sponge, cleaning up messes that no longer serve us. And on your next inhale, we rise into high lunge. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale if you'd like to. It is there for you to kick up into that half split. Again, playing with a little more balance. And whenever you're ready, we're going to take the back foot down and we'll move through our Vinyasa flow before finding a little bit of warrior. And we'll exhale, lower down, inhale, rise in the cobra up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. I'm going to offer the left side to begin this one, so we'll kick that left leg back. Let me switch here so you can see it. Scoot this way, bub. So, left leg high. Bring it through knee to nose, planted down. And we're going to take our back leg and we're going to make it perpendicular with our front. Inhale, rise. Arms come out. Straight to warrior two. So we've got a nice healthy bend in that front knee again. Wherever your body meets you today, arms are Pointed straight back and straight forward. Feel like your chest and your pelvis is on the line, open to that right side. Tailbone's tucked, core is engaged. And on your next inhale, let's go ahead and reverse the warrior. And exhale, side angle. And inhale, back to warrior two. And exhale, let's go ahead and frame that foot out. And inhale, back to our plank. And exhale. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's go ahead and pedal the feet out here again. And check in with your body. Do a little bit of a body scan here. We won't be here long, but just see how you're feeling. You play with a lot of balance, generate a lot of heat. Starting to get warmed up. Starting to wring it all out. Now, we're going to go to the other side. So, we're going to take it from our down dog. Keep that right leg up and high behind us. Knee to nose. Plant the right foot between the hands. Spinning your left foot to be perpendicular. With your right, inhale, arms come out, warrior two. Gazing out over those right fingertips, shoulders square, nice bend in the front knee. Core is engaged, tailbone tucked, and inhale, reverse the warrior. Feel that nice side body stretch. You can take a bind with the left hand behind your back, not straightening that front leg yet. And exhale into side angle. And inhale, back to warrior two. Exhale, frame the foot out. Inhale, back to plank. Exhale, down to the mat, lower down. Inhale, cobra or up dog. And exhale into downward facing dog. Take a few rounds of breath here. Again, just checking in with your body. Noticing anything that's coming up. Emotionally, mentally, physically. Again, no judgment. Just love and forgiveness that we're sending either through the breath or internally to others and to ourselves. And on your next inhale, you can hop, walk, or jump to the top of your mat. And on inhale, we'll rise up, hands overhead. And exhale, hands come down through heart center. And we're gonna take another little grounding pose here. So in mountain pose, if you would like to find the outsides of your feet, almost like you're in lizard, or you're just kind of, you don't want to stand on your big toes if that feels okay. You're trying to stay off the arches for a minute. And just think about how that feels, the outside of your feet, and start to spread your toes as you bring them down. It's almost like you're closing a waffle iron or something. You don't want to splash that batter everywhere, but we're just easing it down. Toes are spread wide, and we're finding the balls of the feet, the heels, the four corners of our feet here. Again, tailbone tucked, core is engaged. You can broaden the chest. If you would like to take your palms open towards the front of your mat or of the room, or however you've chosen to find mountain pose here, we'll take a few deep breaths. If you would like to, again, flutter the eyes closed, take a soft gaze down out in front of you, and just find a little bit of peace here before we find some more movement together. Notice again how your feet fell. Have you had to make any adjustments? Do you feel grounded here? If you'd like to find little movements, go ahead and do that now before settling into the mountain pose for just a couple breaths. Before, together, I offer that we can find some more balance.
So whenever you're ready, you can, if you have your eyes closed, you can go ahead and flutter them open. You can shake it out a little bit. We did a lot of twisting there, a lot of balance to start the practice. We're gonna find some more balance here. So the next couple of poses I'm gonna offer are a little bit challenging, but again, they're there for you in your practice, and I will offer some modifications or other options for you to find. You can always find child pose or down dog or wherever you'd like to take a little bit of a break if it does get to be too much for your practice today. That's okay. Just meet yourself where you are here on the mat with that gratitude and forgiveness. So to find tree pose, let's go ahead and again think about the outside of that foot. We're not taking our hips all over. That was a little exaggerated, but just think about the outside of that foot, and then let's lay that left foot down again. Find all four corners of the foot, and we can start to shift over into our left side, putting more weight on that left leg. If you'd like to kickstand it out here with our right leg, starting to play with the balance a little bit before finding that tree pose. You can have it here below the knee if you'd like, on your calf. If it's in your practice to start to take it up on your inner thigh. Again, we're not cocking the hip out. We want to keep the hips square away from the knee. And if you would like, if this is enough to find balance and you want to find a point in front of you that helps you play with that balance and root in down through that left foot. Again, core is engaged here, tailbone's tucked. If you'd like to inhale the arms out wide into a T, maybe up into your branches or out into a cactus, wherever feels good for you here in this pose, or if you'd like, hands at heart center. If you would like an extra bit of challenge for balance, maybe rebuild some trust with yourself and with your body. You can flutter the eyes closed and just notice that difference, how you play with balance, and your body changes how it manages your balance there. It's always there. Your body's always there to root you down, but just notice how it changes when you take away that vision externally, and maybe need to trust the internal vision a little stronger. And on your next inhale, take the arms up high overhead. Exhale, we'll go ahead and bring them to heart center and plant both feet back down on the mat. You can shake it out here if you would like. Go ahead and maybe roll that ankle out a little bit. But just notice how the hips feel. You can swivel them around a little bit. Whenever you're ready, we'll go ahead and we'll find tree pose on the other side now. So again, we're wanting to root down to all four corners of that right foot. Start to kickstand the left foot up. If you would like to take it to your calf here, that is excellent. If you would like to take it a little higher, again, let's just avoid the knee, but take your time finding this balance, and you can bring it to the inside of your thigh. It may feel a little different, a little unsteady, unstable on this side. That balance changes. Our hips may be a little askew, I know mine are. It's always a fun experiment to play and see how out of balance they are today. Maybe a little more. But again, if you'd like to tee your arms out, or you can have them at heart center, or take them high up overhead and out to find your branches of your tree. Whatever's calling to you in this moment, wherever you find that peace and trust with your body and yourself on your mat. Take one more round of breath here. And on your inhale, arms sweep high up overhead. Exhale, hands come down through heart center. We'll shake this one out as well. If you'd like to shake the arms out too, go ahead, take a little bit of time to just move your body again. All right, and whenever you're ready, we're gonna do a little bit
of a variation on that. Layla, can you move, please? Let's go this way. Thank you. So we're gonna find that tree pose again. So on the right side, I'm gonna face this way because where I'm gonna offer you to go next, you probably wanna be facing the long edge of your mat. So on the right side again, rooting down through your left foot, left leg, and let's bring that tree root up on the right. And this time let's inhale, and on your exhale, if you can, start to fold forward. It might feel weird with that hip. If you need to bring that foot out, that's okay. But what we're gonna do here is we're gonna place our hands on the mat just for a minute to balance, if you'd like to find some space. And we're gonna start to push out. I would like you to try and push out back through that right heel. And if you'd like to start to bring the hands off the mat, either at heart center, and find your warrior three. So again, finding balance, playing with it, you may fall out, that's okay. You can take your arms back behind you as well, almost like you're flying warrior. Whatever is calling to you here, or out in front, whatever is a welcome challenge in your practice today. And then whenever you're ready, I'm going to turn this way so you can see I'm in my warrior three, hands at heart center. I'm going to take the left fingertips down to the mat and start to open up into the half moon. Right fingertips up through the sky again, a nice line, fingertip to fingertip, flexing back through the foot. And on your exhale, let's frame that foot. We can bring it down, back into plank. Inhale, exhale, lower. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. And on your next inhale, let's walk, hop, or jump to the top of your mat. We're gonna go to the other side now. So we wrung it out, thinking about that balance and that forgiveness. We've wrung out a lot of that through twists to try and create that space to renew the trust through forgiveness with ourselves and others. Sometimes forgiveness doesn't mean just letting go. It doesn't mean being foolish and just absolving. It means processing and understanding and building back that trust in whatever the situation may be. So again, we're gonna root down. I want to offer you on the other side the tree to warrior three. So take your right foot, spread your toes wide, and plant through the four corners. Again, we're not going on the knee, but if you want to take the left foot, place it either on the side of your calf or up on your inner thigh. And inhale, arms rise up overhead. Exhale, keeping that right leg straight. It can feel very awkward, but go ahead and start to take your hands down to the mat. And straightening that leg if you took a little bend. And planting down through that right foot, straightening the left leg, kicking back through the heel. If you'd like, inhale, hands to heart center for your warrior three. Again, it's okay if the balance is a little different on this side. You can take your hands back. Or again, if you have blocks, you want a little bit of support here, you can use blocks as you play in your warrior three. All right. And then whenever you're ready, again, I ended up on the wrong side, this side too. So we're rooted down through that right leg. And if you'd like to take your right fingertips to the mat and align the right foot and start to open up to the side, finding your half moon. Arms are in line, hips are open to the left, in line with the torso. And on your exhale, let's go ahead, hands back down to the mat, and kick the feet back. Inhale into plank, exhale, lower down chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Go ahead and pedal it out here a little bit. That was a lot of balance again. Just some challenging transitions. So if you'd like, you can also come to your knees here and just kind of feel a stretch in the top of your thighs. Or if you'd like to find some cat-cow or hip movements after that, whatever is in your practice, whatever feels good. Again, focusing on a release of the hips, some twists to open them up and release and let go of things that no longer serve us, so we can open up our hearts and our bodies for forgiveness. And whenever you're ready, your next exhale, let's go ahead and find downward facing dog. And then inhale, walk, step, or hop to the top of your mat. And inhale, rise. Hands come high up overhead. Exhale, down through heart center. All right, just like in mountain pose, let's go ahead and find a nice balanced space down through the four corners of our feet. And if it's in your practice to find eagle arms, I'd like you to take your right arm out, bring it high in front of you, bend your elbow, and we're gonna take the left, you will take your left arm, wrap it underneath the right, and if you'd like, palms to meet, or the back of hands to meet, or if you'd like to just give yourself a hug, if that's not in your practice, give yourself some extra love here. Wherever you are at is where you need to be. On your next inhale, start to lift the right leg and take it over across the left if you would like to find eagle legs as well. And we're slowly squatting down into our full eagle pose here. If you'd like, you can start to lean forward, pointing the head, crown of the head, the fingertips forward. Again, playing with that balance there. Can be a little challenging to feel all knotted up. And on your next inhale, let's rise. Unwind the legs, tap the toes out, and let's unwind the arms. Shake it all out there. So again, we're finding some twists and some balance to squeeze it all in and release so we can let go and let it roll forward. All right. On our other side, let's go ahead and if you'll start to root down into that right foot, this time take your left arm, make an L, take your right arm, and we'll go wrap it on the other side. Again, if you want to find the back of your hands meeting, or if you can find palms, that's great. Wherever you are at, this big hug is great too. Again, we're feeling that opening through our back, squeezing through the shoulders, peeling the back muscles open. And whenever you're ready, on your next inhale, start to hover that right foot, and left foot, and you'll take the left foot over. You can tuck it behind, or keep it crossed and start to lower down to an eagle squat. Again, feel the balance on this side. It may be a little different, and that's okay. But we're keeping our fingers and arms pointed straight up. You can raise them up a little bit, shoulder height. Core is engaged, tailbone's tucked. On your exhale, let's hinge forward into a fold. And your next inhale, let's go ahead and rise. We'll unwind, shake it all out. All right. So, take a nice deep inhale. Arms come high up overhead. Exhale, hands down through heart center. Inhale, rise. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Nice flat back. Crown of the head pointed forward, spine is straight. Exhale, forward fold. On your next inhale, please meet me in chair pose if that's in your practice. So we'll inhale, planting down through the heels. You can lift your toes if you'd like. Arms come out, shoulders away from the ears. Sit back in your chair. Core is engaged, tailbone is tucked. And see if on your next exhale, you can sink a little deeper. If you'd like to rock back on those heels, finding a little more engagement. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands down through heart center. Inhale, rise. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And inhale into your chair pose once more. So again, rooting down through our heels and the ball of our feet. Hands up, shoulders, elbows along the ears, but shoulders are peeled down and back away from the ears. Again, we're not bowing our knees in or out, just finding naturally where our body engages and feel that balance. Again, if you'd like to rock a little bit back on your heels, or maybe forward on your toes and find a little more depth in that chair. And on your exhale, let's go ahead and fold forward. And inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise. Hands come down through heart center. And exhale, shake it out. All right, hopefully you're enjoying playing with a little balance, feeling a little bit loose, releasing the tension, twisting it out, letting go, making space for that love and forgiveness. All right, we're gonna find a little bit more balance here. So if you would like to root down through your left foot, we're gonna hover that right foot again. Your hands can be at heart center or down at your side. This time, take your right ankle and place it on your left thigh above the knee. And this is our standing figure four. So if you'd like, hands at heart center, you can start to bend. Again, we're keeping the back straight, tailbone tucked into figure four there. Or if you'd really like to deepen the stretch, you can place the fingertips on the mat once you're here and straighten that leg into a figure four forward fold. This is a little bit more of a supported balance, but still a good hip stretch, good leg stretch. You can play with it. I know when I start to kind of find that chair, I feel the outside stretch here and the hips open, and then really feeling that back and leg stretch along with the balance when I straighten. You can find a little bit of a flow here if you'd like. So you can inhale, straighten, exhale, sit. Inhale, straighten, exhale, sit. And on your next inhale, let's straighten it. Straighten both legs. And we'll take that forward fold. Inhale, rise into halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, let's rise. Hands high up overhead. Exhale, down to heart center. All right. For the other side, you want to root down into your right foot. Again, you can start to hover, hands down at your side or at heart center. We're going to bring the left foot. You are going to place your left foot on your right thigh and start to, again, from your tailbone to the crown of your head, keeping that nice and straight, sinking into your figure four chair here. And if you would like to take this forward fold and deepen that stretch here, fingertips on the mat. If you'd like to take it even a little more, if you have blocks, you can stay right here again and let those support you in any of these balancing poses. Or you can find that little flow again. We'll inhale, straighten, exhale, bend. And we'll inhale, straighten, and exhale.
exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Now on your next exhale, let's go ahead and let it go into our forward fold. Inhale, rise, halfway lift, flat back, nice straight spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands come down to heart center. And exhale, let's forward fold, and we'll walk our hands out in front of us this time and find our downward facing dog. Again, pedal those feet out, make sure the hands are planted, shoulders are square, hips are square. Piking the hips, you may feel a deeper openness here now. We've done a lot of balance and a lot of twists. Again, peeling the shoulders away from the ears. You can shake your head no, nod your head yes. And on your next inhale, let's take a right leg high back behind us. And place your right foot in between the hands, frame it out. And on your inhale, we're gonna you will find your warrior three. A couple rounds of breath here. Inhale. And exhale, let's drop that back foot down. If you'd like to take your right hand, let's heel toe the right foot out a little bit so we're on the right outside edge of the foot, and you can lower the knee down, start to open that hip up. If you'd like, in your lizard pose, you can have the hands down supporting you. We're trying to keep our hips square, but really feeling that hip opening. Over here in our right hip, we're not pushing, but if you'd like, if it's in your practice, you can come down to your forearms, feeling that stretch deepen. If you have a block and you'd like to stay here, place your head on the block, you're welcome to do that. And on your next inhale, let's heel toe this leg all the way across to find your pigeon. So in pigeon, if you have that block, if you have a gap here under the hip, let's go ahead and place a block here to support that hip, making sure we keep them square and our left leg is long behind us. And on your next inhale, rise up a little bit, find that space in the chest, core is engaged, and exhale. Again, you can come down to your forearms if you'd like to, hands out in front of you, or take prayer hands behind your head. Feeling that hip stretch deepen, opening the hip, deepening the stretch and releasing. Take it here for a couple rounds of breath at your own pace, feeling whatever your body is calling for in your practice today. And whenever you're ready, on your next inhale, let's rise up. Let's go ahead and curl those toes under on the back leg, and let's kick back into our plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, rise into cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, back into our down dog. Again, pedal it out here if you need. If you'd like to move the hips a little bit. And whenever you're ready, on your next inhale, take your left leg high and knee to nose. Let's plant it in between the hands. Inhale. Again, if you want to kind of hop these toes up, or if you want to kick straight into it, kicking that heel back to find your warrior three on the left side again. Hands can be at heart center, out in front of you, or behind here for a few rounds of breath. Again, playing with the balance. If you find a spot, you can focus on, gaze out in front of you a little bit, but really trusting your body with that openness to find balance. Hips are square, shoulders square, wherever you're at. You can take those blocks again for a little bit of support here. And on your exhale, let's go ahead and bring that right leg down, knee to the mat, untuck the toes. We're taking the left leg out this time. So you're gonna find the outside of that left foot on the edge of your mat. Right leg long behind you. If you'd like to lower down to the forearms. Again, not forcing anything, feeling where our body wants to take us today. You want to feel that engagement in the core and in the hips opening up and out. There's no judgment here. Nothing but love for yourself and gratitude for coming to your mat tonight. And on your next inhale, let's go ahead and come back up to the palms and heel toe your foot all the way across your mat, just like on the other side. The hip is lifted and you need to place a block as we find pigeon on our left side. And exhale, you can fold forward on your forearms onto your palms or finding prayer hands all the way down to the mat. Take a few extra breaths here. Again, notice on this side what's a little different. Again, not to judge, but to offer some forgiveness and more love to places in your body that maybe you're carrying emotional burdens or old injuries or things that just weigh us down a little bit extra, maybe take up too much space in our minds. And whenever you are ready, you can inhale and rise up in your pigeon. And go ahead and meet me in a nice, comfortable seated position. If you want to stop in tabletop as you come out, move those hips, circle them out a little bit. Whatever movement you want to find here as we start to cool down together, as we've generated that fire, we've wrung it out, we've opened the body up. We hold a lot of grounding in our hips, but if things are out of balance, we can feel even more ungrounded. We can feel even more at odds with ourselves or at odds with others if we're feeling ungrounded. So hopefully moving through those twists and the balance was a nice challenge to yourself and an opportunity to face a challenge. And sometimes that's what we need to find forgiveness, is to face that challenging moment and meet it with our whole selves. So whenever you're ready, in your nice comfortable seat, find an inhale, arms up high overhead. If you'd like to find diamond, or if you'd like to kick your legs out, you're more than welcome to, but we each find different ways in our body to get there as you move into seated forward fold. So we're not pulling, softening the back, softening the face. If you notice any tension through your jaw, and keeping the shoulders down away from the ears, leading with the heart as you find this forward fold seated. Feel, if you can or if you do, when you came to your mat, if anything's changed and how grounded you're feeling or how open your hips are feeling, or just overall if your body feels a little more joy from being playful and testing your balance and testing these twists and wringing it out. Sometimes it is about moving through those storms, finding forgiveness that leads to the new and renewed joy. And on your next inhale, let's rise up, hands high up overhead. Exhale, palms come through heart center. And however you'd like to get there, go ahead and find your way to lying flat on your back. Just a few more poses before we find Savasana, the final resting pose. And again, don't judge yourself. Don't judge this practice now on the mat or even when you leave. Allow that forgiveness to run hot. Anger runs hot. But what if we allowed our forgiveness to run even hotter? And once you find your way to your back, go ahead and hug your knees into your chest. You can rock back and forth, massaging the small of your back if you'd like. You can rock forwards to backwards. Whenever you're ready, extend your legs out in front of you. And then let's pull. First, bring your right leg back up into your chest. Let's take a left hand to right knee. And we'll gently guide it across to our left side. You can bring it all the way to the mat. You can tee your arms out if you'd like. And find a gaze out over your right shoulder. Again, don't forget about your breath here. Just a few more twists to really wring it all out. Fill it with that loving, forgiving breath that you feel right now. And on your next inhale, let's go ahead and take it out to the right. Again, now we're going to you can take your right hand on top of right knee, opening the hip back out to the right side, tee the arms. And exhale, go ahead and straighten out and shake it out. Whenever you're ready on your next inhale, bring your left knee into your chest. And we're, again, not looking to pull or push, but whenever you're ready, taking the right hand on top of the left knee and gently drawing it across the middle line of your body. Shoulders are staying flat on the mat. And find that gaze, if you'd like, out to the left. Think about being that sponge right now. Just wringing it all out, letting it all go. And on your next inhale, go ahead and open it up. And exhale, take your left hand, left knee, tee the arms out, and open the hip back up. Couple of deep breaths here for you. And whenever you're ready on your next exhale, go ahead and kick the legs straight back out. And then pull the knees back into your chest. Again, you can find a little bit of rock side to side, forward and backward. And if it's in your practice, I would like to offer you a final pose of Happy Baby. So if you'd like to bring the knees in and down towards your shoulders, flat back, flat shoulders on the mat, reaching for the outside of the feet, soles of your feet. You can kick one leg out, you can kick the other leg out. Find whatever movement makes you happy here. Be that happy baby, holding no regrets, holding no grudges, nothing but love and forgiveness. This is your final pose that I am offering in this practice, but if there are other movements or stretches or parts of the body that need a little bit of extra love before we find a final resting pose of Savasana, I offer you this time to take that now. And if you are ready to go ahead and find Savasana, go ahead and find that flat on your mat. Feel your body anchoring into the ground. Let's take a nice deep breath in through the nose and a nice deep exhale through the mouth. Hopefully you do feel that warmth that we've stirred up in our body, that warmth of love and forgiveness. As you ease into Savasana here, the final resting pose, remember that forgiveness is freedom. May we leave lighter than we arrived. Take these moments here in the final resting pose to think about the freedom you can offer to others in your life and to yourself through forgiveness. One of my favorite quotes from Alan Watts on forgiveness is, "To forgive is to set a prisoner free and discover that prisoner was you." So many times forgiveness often is needed for ourselves, and may we offer it all to each other more openly as we hope to ourselves. Let's take one nice deep inhale again, hands come high up overhead. Exhale, palms meet, come down through heart center. Thank you for allowing me and trusting me to guide you through this practice. The divine light in me sees, honors the divine light in you.